My husband today is going to be helping us to cook okra. Okra is a very famous vegetable in Nigeria, and it is used to eat food that is in their culture of Nigerians especially, and many other African countries, by the way. I know it is there in Ghana, I know it's there in Kenya, and many other countries who eat it. Tell me, do you eat okra in your country? Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Karaoke Moments. This is our channel where we have discussions on life conversations and where we believe life is a journey, walk in it. And we discuss many things that are involved in our lives, day-to-day life. Subscribe in this channel if you've never done it. We want to thank you for even finding a time to come. So today we'll be thinking and talking about cooking. And we're going to be thinking about cooking from different perspectives, and my husband today is going to be helping us to cook okra. Okra is a very famous vegetable in Nigeria, and it is used to eat food that is in their culture of Nigerians especially, and many other African countries, by the way. I know it is there in Ghana, I know it's there in Kenya, and many other countries who eat it. Tell me, do you eat okra in your country? Tell me. Subscribe if you have subscribed, fine. Comment and like this video. And most of the time when okra is made, it's made in various ways. Like now, he's going to show us how they make it in Nigeria, because in Kenya we make it in a different way. Most of the time we like to make it on the side, and maybe we can mix it with beef stew, or we can mix it with goat meat. But most of the time we make it on the side, and then we make vegetables on the side. But how we are going to see is how Nigerians prefer it, where they mix vegetables together but in a very stylish way. And it is used to eat food like gari. Gari is yam that has been cassava that has been dried and pounded together. And it can also be used to eat pounded yam, whereby it's yam that has been dried and then ground with the millers and then pounded with water and eat it. Mostly some other people use the maize meal, whereby we make food like in where I come from in Kenya, we call it ugali. You can eat with okra, maybe with your beef or your chicken or fish. Then we have in the Central Africa, I think they call it mostly Zimbabwe. They use also the maize meal. They use maize meal to make it and eat with okra. We also have sima. Some people they call it sima, but it's all maize flour that has been ground. Yeah. So welcome, enjoy, and also I want to appreciate one thing. When we say life is a journey, because we discuss life conversation, there is one thing I want to appreciate. My husband enjoys cooking. Seriously, he's beaten me. Cooking, I can't starve. I cook. I prefer cooking my meals in the home, but he supersedes me. I want to thank God for him, because he's a better cook. I feel well taken care of in the areas of I can cook when I have to, but if he's at home and I'm at work, I never get the pressure of how will I go home, maybe at 9. Sometimes my job allows me to go home as late as 10. And I don't have the pressure of maybe he's not cooking. And I think it's good when men also know how to cook. It's a life skill, by the way. It's a life skill. If we can allow men also to cook, because sometimes mothers are the ones that say, oh, boys don't go to the kitchen. In some cultures, don't go to the kitchen. But I think it's a life skill, just like swimming, like driving a car. Even if as a parent you're driving a car, you would want your son to also know how to drive a car. One day you might be sick and he's above 18 or the age allowed to drive, and he will drive. For example, if he knows how to swim, he'll also swim. If he's drowning and you're not there, and actually you might be there and he dies, but if he's drowning, he'll be able to do what? He'll be able to turn himself up and resuscitate himself or bring himself up and not drown. Likewise, that's how I look at cooking. Cooking is a life skill. Sometimes men even don't get married right away. They get married at 25 or 30, having gone to campus, working and staying in their homes. How would you like your son to be starving or just to be eating? And at times food that is bought out could be junky and could be not very nutritious or expensive. So to me, I think men men should be able to cook for themselves, especially surely even basic food. I want to thank God that I met him knowing how to cook. And I want to thank God at this point. I should also say my mother-in-law, because he was able to be allowed to go to the kitchen. He's a good cook, very good cook. I have no complaints. So it's a good life skill, man. It's good to cook. And by the way, you might even get married to a lady who is not a good cook. What will you do? Marriage is about sharing what you know. One will be having one good gift and the other one not a very good gift. We have even some ladies who are better financiers, who are even earning more. When you look at it from a marriage perspective, it doesn't mean that because you're earning more, you are the husband of that family. You're still the wife. So likewise, when a husband is a better cook, it doesn't mean that he now becomes a wife. No, he's still the husband. And actually, to a woman, we appreciate more if men can be able to cook. You might be working and your children are at home with the father. The father should not be sitting saying, oh, what time will my husband come? Or maybe feed children junk because the wife is not there. I believe when men know how to cook, it's a plus in the family. They can also be able to make a meal for the children and the wife is away. So I welcome you. Welcome to Karaoke Moments. Subscribe if you haven't and continue enjoying our live conversation. Today we are doing cooking. So it's a cookery kind of a lesson, and you're going to be cooking okra soup. You're going to see how it's done Nigerian style. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you another day.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're watching from. My name is Victor. Want to teach you guys how to make okra soup. Because I realize most of our men lives in a diaspora doesn't know how to cook. They all depends on their wives to make food. Even if they work from morning to 8 p.m. and come back late, they want their wife to still cook for them, which is not proper. It's not good, And for example, if your wife is pregnant, for them, they still tell their wife to go to kitchen and cook. Instead of them being the one to cook and give to their wife and the children, they will expect their wife to see cook and give them. That's not right. It's good for us to learn. Even if you don't want to learn it, don't know how to cook, you can learn. You can go to Google and find out one or two things to do. And your wife will appreciate you and love you more. I started cooking when I was, 14 years old. So this is how I grew up. And I became very good in cooking. Not just cooking, it became an hobby. Maybe very soon you're going to see me on live TV as well. Cooking like, what's the name, Hida in Nigeria that cooked for for almost 100 hours without stopping. So I love cooking, and my wife would tell you that whenever I'm cooking, I only tell her to stay outside, and relax. When I finish, you come in, unless I want to teach her something. How to make some particular meal, because as a husband, once in a while, you want your wife to cook and give you, and you feel like a man. So that's the way I have allowed her to be for almost a few years we live together. So it's a good thing to know how to cook. It's a good thing to learn how to do one or two things at home. You don't just have to relax and wait for your wife to give you food. Your wife must do everything. No, it doesn't work that way, So right now, I'm going to show you the ingredients that you can use to cook okra soup. This is pepper. Yeah, I'm going to use 2 of these. I'm going to put it inside the blender. I've done that already, but I'm just telling you so that you see what I did before I arrived to where I am now. You cut onions like this, 1 or 2, depending on what you want. Put it inside the blender. You bring a crayfish, what we call a crayfish. This is crayfish. This is oil, palm oil. You add palm oil inside it. Ugu leaf, this is ugu leaf. For those that live in Western world and you can't find ugu leaf where you live, you can use spinach for those who use spinach here. So this one has been washed and cut, The okra is already in the pot here. You can see it, but I will show you how I came to arrive to this point. That's okra. I've washed it and cut it, in this way. Or just a size of this bowl. So you can imagine how big the okra is. I made the okra full from this bowl, the size of this bowl. That's the okra, yeah? Because I want to make a large soup. I always like to cook once. Here you don't have time. You always work and you always be doing one thing or the other. So this is exactly what I do. So here you have dry fish. Yeah. You have some meat in the bowl, plastic under here. And I have some shaki also somewhere there in the plastic. So these are all going to go make up the okra soup. But the first I will do, when I finish blending this, what I just show you, pepper, crayfish, onions, these three things here, what I will do, I will pour it inside the pot, add water, allow it to cook for about 5 minutes. Then I will add okra that I have cut. You can see the okra already in the pot. We boiled the okra, blended pepper, onions, crayfish with oil added to cook for about 5 minutes. After about 5 minutes, you have to add this okra that you've cut. Then you don't need to cover it. You don't cover okra soup, when you are cooking it. So you leave it to boil for about another 5 minutes, right? Thereafter, you add fish, a dry fish, and every other thing you want to put inside. Meat and that you cook, because already you have to cook the meat down. You not just want to cook fresh meat and put fresh meat inside now. No, you have to cook the meat you are going to use, and make sure the meat is done. Then you have to add it now inside this pot. Okay, then cook it again for another 5 minutes. Then when it's about, maybe say 5 minutes to go or 6 minutes to finish the cooking, you add the ugu leaf, because ugu leaf, you don't want to allow your ugu to be your vegetable to boil for so long. That's the last thing you're going to add. You put Maggi. This is Maggi here, Raiko, or this is Maggi. You put like 2 or 3 inside it. Yeah, that's Maggi. Add salt and allow it to cook for 5 minutes. Like I said, that's after adding the vegetable, or 7 minutes maximum. Then you are good to go. Then your soup is ready. Yes, I'm coming towards the completion of the making of the okra soup. That's it. You can see the look now. I've just added the ugu leaf. Every other thing has gone in, like fish, beef. Yes, fish and beef that I use, goat meat. You can see how it looks like. That is okra soup. My wife used to call it slamming soup. He says slamming. So this is how it looks like, but very medicinal. For those that don't know benefit of okra, go and Google it on your Google. You will see the benefit of okra. It cures a lot of illness, in case you don't know. Like arthritis, okra, very rich in that. So you go and check it out, and you will see yourself. So you can see the okra soup. You can see it's not watery, it's thick. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. So this yum with you eat it with gari, if you know how to make gari, fufu, pounded yam, amala, and so on and so forth. So that's what you eat okra soup with. So you will see that it's very easy. It's just that we men at times we are lazy. We don't just want to do anything. We feel we are men and we don't want to do anything. We don't want to touch anything. It's the responsibility of a wife to cook. That is totally wrong. Even in Africa now, it's becoming a tradition. Women cook in the kitchen. You understand? These days, we learn a lot from social media. So you can cook and you enjoy it, and your wife will love you so much because you've reduced the stress of her coming back from work or looking after children, and to come back again, he will enter kitchen. That's not fair. But when you join her, assist her to do all these things, she will love you more. Trust me, she will more. So this is how it is. You cannot just stand and allow your wife to be doing all things without helping her. That is not fair, So that is not fair. You just have to assist her in the best way you can to lift the family up. Okay? So next time, I'm going to teach you maybe how to make egusi soup. Egusi is another easy one. Or I'll teach you how to make stew, very fine stew that you enjoy. Or any kind of food. I'm going to do that again for those that want to learn. Yeah. So I've got to leave it for now. Till I see you another day. Thank you. Bye.